Well, hey there everyone, this is Frank and welcome to my shop. Have you ever had an issue with your drill press, with the original tables, really too small, really don't have anything to line up or have like a fence on it? Well, I've had mine for quite a long time. It's an old Delta drill press, and I finally decided to go ahead and upgrade my drill press with a drill press table that will have some T-slots, will have a back fence, and have some stops so that I could use it for some accuracy, especially here working on my shop build to work on my cabinet doors. So while I was at the woodworking show here in the East Coast, I ended up getting the Woodpeckers drill press table kit. Included with that their fence, their adjustable fence. So this video is going to be a quick kind of a tool talk and a tool installation of my new Woodpeckers drill press table. So stay tuned, we're going to put it together. Okay, I've opened up my Woodpeckers drill press table kit, and here is all the accessories that come with it. So you have the table itself, and that table measures 24 inches wide and it is 16 inches deep. So it is a pretty beefy table. It is a little over an inch thick. So I think it's MDF is 1 inch thick, and then they have some phenolic coating on top of that. With that, you've got some rails that will, or actually T-tracks that will go inside the table. You also have, I have no idea what this is, but it's another T-track. So I'll have to see what, I actually think this is for the fence itself. And you've got a couple of hold downs that came in with the kit. Of course, you've got like 3 or 4 packets of bolts and nuts and accessories. We come in with, I believe this is a 4 inch? Nope, it's a 4.5 by 4.5 inch, 1 inch thick piece of MDF to put as a sacrificial drill table. And what else? And off to the side here, I've got their fence system that will adjust onto the track, and some hardware that will go along with that as well. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll start going through the set of instructions. They have the instructions for the drill press table. They have a set of instructions for the knuckle clamps, and then there's another set of instructions for the fence system itself. So let's go ahead and get started here and follow the instructions. And it looks like it's pretty simple. I did some pre-measuring before I started up the video. I made sure I got kind of a center mark on the back side of my table, and I also got a center mark on my drill press table, so I can make sure that when I line these things up, they're perfectly centered. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first part of step 1 is installing the table track. So we're going to go ahead and get the track out and get our hardware pieces out and go ahead and install that track. So what I'm doing is I'm taking these Phillips head recessed screws and starting the T-track slot nuts on the other side of this board. And one last nut. Okay, so next step, it shows to go ahead and slide the tracks in. Now, of course, when you take a look at, there are measurements that are on these slots, and it starts off with 6 at the very back, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 0, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you want to make sure that when you put this in, that you have that 6 inches toward the back, because that's where your fence would go. So there is a right way and a wrong way to put this track in. And it is a tight fit. Which I would assume you do want. Go ahead and do this other side. Let's see, 0 to the back. Okay. Now we want to make sure they're both in the same position, and they are. You'll see when you get down and down at the bottom here where there's a piece of plastic phenolic coating that is attached to the MDF. This rail will stop right at that piece, and that's where you want both of them to be placed. It's exactly, the rails are exactly, from what I can see, the width of the MDF. So with that being said, let me spin this around. And let's go ahead and tighten up the track. Now the instructions say to be careful not to over tighten, because you can damage the track, and that is so true on just about any kind of T-track. Okay, one side down. Okay, so the track is on. Okay, so let's go to the next step. Step number 2 is installing the level screws. These are 4 little flathead screws that flush to the bottom of the recess of the sacrificial drill piece. These screws are to be used to bring a 1/2 inch filler block up to the top of the table. Okay, so here the holes are already pre-drilled for these, and all you have to do for now is to go ahead and put these screws in. And the holes are recessed, and these are recessed screws. From what I could tell, the sacrificial wood block seems to be pretty flush anyway. I don't see much need to raise it up. But if for some reason you get another piece of 1/2-inch board that you want to use as your sacrifice, these screws are good because you can actually raise it up and get this level. Okay, so that's completed. The next step, it says that it depends on the type of table saw that you have, or the drill press that you have. And I have a drill press table on my Delta that has through slots. In other words, has slots that I can easily attach this table to. And so the instructions are to remove that table from the drill press and to bring it on over to this and attach it to the bottom. So we're going to do that right now. Okay, so this is my drill press table. Get the lever, unscrew it, get it loose, you tighten up the back, it'll be easier to get off. There you have it, got her off. So now you can see the slots. I marked a center line onto my plate, and we'll go ahead and put it upside down on the table and get it mounted. Okay, let me make sure I get the back. So again, I marked my plate. I've made a center line, and I'm going to make sure that I line that up into the back of the Woodpeckers table. We've got that lined up just right. Okay. Next, they tell you to go ahead and drill a 5/32 inch drill hole into the bottom of the table, and then they have bolts that they gave us to, or actually screws, with a plate that you can use to put the plate inside, put the screw on, and it actually will hold that drill press table, the Delta metal table, to the Woodpecker table. So let's go ahead and get this drilled. Okay. Go ahead and screw these clips right into the bottom of the table. Now I'm going to hand tighten them, hand screw them in instead of using a screwdriver. Mainly for the sake I don't want to strip these when I'm putting them in. Okay, this is lined up good. Two more. Okay, that's attached. So our next step on the instructions will be to tell us to go ahead and put the table back onto my Delta, and then we can go ahead and put in the sacrificial board, and then we'll start putting in the tracks and as well as the back fence. So let's go ahead and get this back installed on my Delta. Okay. Okay, we got that back in. All right, the next step is to, there's two 1 1/4 inch bolts that they say to install into the T-track. So we'll go ahead and get those pulled in. And then they've got two stop blocks, or these are basically kind of like stop rails for the fence. And there's two of them, and they've got a groove on the bottom, so they kind of fit inside that slot. So you got to put them down inside like that. And then we take two of these little wing nuts. And go ahead and put those on. Okay. Actually, before I put those on, I need to put this other 1 inch bolt in. And that 1 inch bolt is going to be for the fence track itself. So this 1 inch bolt does not go into the track. You'll see when I pull the fence out. I'm going to leave these a little loose. I'm going to go ahead and put in my sacrificial block. And the next step, they say, is to go ahead and put on the fence itself. So install the fence. So taking a look at this again, get the sawdust out of it. It also has a ruler. It's marked and etched, and you want to make sure it's right reading. If you get one of these, you make sure it's reading in the right direction, and then you install the fence accordingly. Okay, and we can take that to the back. And then lastly, we put these wing nuts on, and I'll center this up and tighten them down. Okay, and if I loosen up the back, you can see that they will slide now. You can kind of slide the fence to wherever you want it. You can put the marks on, you know, sit here and mark it at 1 inch, and then you've got a pretty good square track. Yeah, I use my Woodpeckers 1281. You know, I can see that, yeah, I'm actually perfectly square. Okay. All right. Coming down to the end here. So we got to install the fence in step number 6. Step number 7, install the L stop. So they did give us 2 little L stops. And those L-stops, if I look at the directions correctly, they will go into the T-track like such on the two ends. Okay, and you can tighten them down. Now you've got your two stops. If you want the stops out of the way, you can actually flip them out of the way. And they're out of your way, and you can just use the fence. So, that's pretty much the instructions. Now, there is the other option, and that would be to put on a larger fence. It's called the DP3 fence. And so if you had something you wanted to kind of hold in place or clamp in place while you're drilling, clamping it to the back, you can do that with this fence. And it has the accessories to go ahead and apply it onto the table. So let's go ahead and get started, and let's put this together. And I'll slide it in through the front. I'm not going to take this fence off and show you what it looks like. Okay, I did take that back fence off just to, let's go ahead and get this assembled. I want to see how it works, and I can show you how it works as well. First thing, it says to insert the long bolt through the bottom of the fence. And looking at the track where it sits up, there's a multitude of different holes that you can actually put this in. And according to my T-track, it's going to be the hole that's the two holes that are closest on the inside. Okay, so they say to put those on first. All right, so it says to put the bolts in, which I did, the long bolts into the inside holes. Then you put two steel washers on, which I did. Next, it says to install a nylon spacer, which, there they are. Follow that by threading a hex nut all the way down. So you got two hex nuts here. We'll go ahead and install those. And bring those all the way down. Okay. This hex nut all the way down. Okay, follow that up with another steel washer, and then finally the knob. So they're saying slip on the black tube over the hex nut. Okay, we did that. And down over the nylon spacer, which we did that. And they say a steel washer, so we'll put a steel washer on top of that. Okay. And then finally the knobs. Okay. Okay. Once both set of hardware, loosen the assembly on the fence and align the head of the jacket. Okay, and then put it onto the T-track. Okay. Okay, slide that onto the track, and there we have it. Now, if we want to tighten it up, we can just use a tighten up the sleeve first, because that's actually got that hex nut nice and snug. So you can use that to snug up the whole mechanism, and then go ahead and use that, and there you have it. All right, we are done. So this is what the Woodpeckers drill press table kit looks like. And it's actually very easy to put together and to assemble and to put on. I've got both fences on here right now. I've got the standard fence locked in place, and then this fence, the DP3 fence, I basically have that loose. I'll take that off and put that aside, and we'll use it when needed for whatever projects I have. So this is going to come in handy for me to go ahead and be able to use the stops on the fence and to position my cabinet doors in the right position in order to go ahead and drill the Fastener bit holes to put the hinges on. So anyway, I'm very pleased with that. I looked at a lot of different tables. I do like the Woodpeckers products. Are just excellent. Their craftsmanship is superb, and you know what? I love it because they're also made in the United States, and I believe it's in Ohio. So if you are looking for a drill press table, you might want to consider the one from Woodpeckers. Okay? All right, we're done. Thanks for joining me in my shop and putting together a new toy, the Woodpeckers drill press table. And like I said, it was a pretty easy build, and I'm glad I've got it so I can continue on with my part 2 of my cabinet build, which is the doors. So thanks for joining me. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see other videos of the projects that I'm working on in my shop, please subscribe. Let your friends know as well and have them subscribe. And we'll go ahead and continue to share about what we do in our woodworking shop here. Thanks again for watching the video, and we'll see you around the block.